There's something I can do?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Liam, I don't know if you can bring Joyce in, but she's here now.
Looks like she's in.
Can you hear us, Joyce?
She's muted.
I know you're muted. You got to unmute.
There you go.
Hear us?
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
perfect. You're on the secret cam, so
Okay, just hold tight for a minute, Joyce. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Yarmouth Select Board meeting of October 21st, 2025. We are going to go into executive session first to return to public session. I'm going to read the motion. The Yarmouth Select Board will consider going into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Steelworkers Highway Local 13507-01 and the Steelworkers Sanitation Local 13507-09, which if held in open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining of the public body, and if the chair so declares, which I do declare. So I'd like to take a motion to go into executive session. I'm having a hard
Second.
time speaking tonight. All those in favor?
Do roll
Aye.
call.
Yes, thank you.
Dorcas McGurran, aye.
Argo, aye.
Aye.
Do
We'll
we
be in
have to get
executive
Joyce?
session. Well, she's not there, I don't think so. She's muted. We'll be in executive
Recording
session.
stopped.
Okay. Bingo.
Good evening, everybody, and we are back.
Recording in progress.
We are back in public session now. I'll ask you all to please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We were going to begin with announcements. Anybody on the board have any announcements this evening?
I just wanted to remind everyone of the Fall Cleanup Day. This is in place of the one that got rained out last spring. If you show up out in front of Town Hall at 8:30, or just before, just after, with your own caffeine, because, you know, who can judge? Everyone takes it differently. You'll be given a route and some tools to do the cleanup route, and you'll also have a protein bar to keep you going.
And that's November.
Saturday,
November 1st, it's a Saturday.
8:30
The
a.m.
day after Halloween, so don't overdo on Halloween.
Liz, do you have any
I
announcements?
do not.
Dorcas?
I do not.
Bob?
well, we do have in your packet that on Saturday, October 25, the Yarmouth Recreation Department will be conducting its Halloween Spooktacular at the Mattakese Middle School. Wear your best costume, and at 4 p.m. they're going to do the hallway trick-or-treating, face painting, craft games, and have a movie at 5 p.m. So come on out to the Halloween Spooktacular on October 25.
Keys. Excellent, thank you. All right, we will move into public comment. I see on Mr. Guerin. Good evening, Mr. Guerin, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you. During the September 9th, 2025 Yarmouth Select Board meeting, Senator Sear advocated for implementing the Aspen, Colorado model of deed restrictions and luxury transfer taxes in order to increase the Cape's affordable housing supply. A quick internet search reveals, however, the Aspen, Colorado plan faces many challenges that have prevented it from providing adequate affordable housing for its workforce. As a result, for the following reasons, the Colorado plan is not a good model for Yarmouth to follow. According to a summary of articles by the Aspen Times, aspenjournalism.org, and coloradobiz.com, affordable housing demand in Aspen continues to far exceed the housing supply, and workers still drive long distances outside of Aspen and Pitkin County, where Aspen is located, to work there. ColoradoBiz.com reports in a July 28, 2025 article that 60% of Pitkins County's workforce reside outside of the county, and over 20% drive over 50 miles away on a daily basis. Furthermore, Aspen imposes deed restrictions on 70%, that's 70, over 2/3 of the full-time occupied homes within its boundaries, which are managed by the Aspen-Pitkin County Housing Authority, established in 1978, which is one of the largest of its kind in North America. This housing authority manages the sale of most of these deed-restricted units, and buyers must qualify based on income and other criteria before participating in a lottery for ownership. Does Yarmouth plan to mandate deed restrictions and create a housing authority to manage the sale of 70% or more of the homes in Yarmouth? The Yarmouth Planning Board has worked long and hard drafting its 10-year plan, which its representatives will preview with this board later tonight. I don't believe the Planning Board has included deed restrictions, a housing authority, and luxury transfer taxes in its 10-year plan to revitalize Yarmouth and Route 28. The Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce estimates on its website that 37 to 40% of houses on the Cape are secondary homes. Apparently, 12% of these homes are rented on a short-term basis, according to a recent Ocean 104 radio news report. Therefore, about 25% of the homes on Cape Cod are either not primary houses or not rented during the year. Presumably, these secondary homeowners vacation in Yarmouth at their second home during the year. Some may plan to retire there, and others may be snowbirds, who spend the winter in warmer states. Assuming that Yarmouth's housing numbers are similar to the Chamber's Cape-wide estimates, how will this board implement mandated deed restrictions as well as a housing authority that will manage the sale of all houses in Yarmouth? Plus, Senator Sears suggested Yarmouth should levy higher property taxes on secondary homeowners. How will Yarmouth equitably impose different property taxes for primary and secondary homeowners? The luxury transfer tax also makes no sense because Aspen and Yarmouth are extremely different vacation spots, and no one can agree on what a luxury tax is. Even Senator Sear told this board he doesn't know. Will each Cape town have a different definition? What will Yarmouth's luxury transfer tax be dedicated to? Compare with Yarmouth, Aspen has a year-round economy. While famous for its ski slopes in the winter, Aspen is also a popular tourist attraction in the summer. Thus, Aspen's employers can afford to pay a higher wage to those who work but don't live in Aspen. According to the Chamber's website, the Cape has a seasonal tourist economy of 3 months, June, July, and August. Seasonal businesses in Yarmouth close for the winter. Aspen's median single-family home price is $13 million. Yarmouth's is $605,000. Clearly, Aspen's and Yarmouth's median home prices are in different universes. Finally, the Cape Cod Times positively reported on October 16th that the Cape's population is projected to decline over 17% in the coming years due to an aging population. If the Cape's population is declining, why rush to impose deed restrictions, housing boards, and luxury taxes? Presumably, it will be a buyer's market with a glut of houses on the market. In conclusion, the Aspen, Colorado plan doesn't provide a rational solution for Yarmouth when considering the problems Aspen is facing with its unaffordable housing, despite implementing its transfer tax, deed restriction policies, and housing board since 1978. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Guerin. Anybody else would like to address the board in public comment? Yes, ma'am. Please come to the podium or here at the table, whichever is more convenient, and identify yourself for the record, please.
Hi. I'm Marcy Cohen from South Yarmouth, and I'm here to make an appeal for volunteers for a wonderful organization called Bay to Sound Neighbors. We are a homegrown, nonprofit, all-volunteer organization that provides what I call good neighbor kinds of services to seniors in Yarmouth and Dennis, but the majority of our members are from Yarmouth. They pay a minimal membership fee, and it's on a sliding scale, for 9 services per month, and our volunteers provide these services, taking somebody to a doctor's office and home again, or hanging a light bulb, or hooking up a printer to a computer. Things that don't require a license or certificate, nothing that requires a professional training, but as I said, good neighbor kinds of services. We have an explosion of interest in membership. We have currently about 190 members. We have an average of 272 services that we actually deliver per month. And we have had to stop taking on new members because we don't have enough volunteers. And so right now, we're taking a waiting list, which is growing as I speak. And just to whoever can hear me, we are looking for volunteers who are willing to give a couple hours a week or 4 hours a month. It's a very flexible kind of volunteer opportunity.
Marcy, how do they get in touch with you?
And I'm just about to give you our website, which is Bay to Sound Neighbors. So it's because we're a town that goes from the Bay to the Sound. So we're baytosoundneighbors.org. And more information is available on that website. You can also volunteer through that website. And we would love to have more volunteers.
Excellent, thank you. Hopefully, people will hear your plead and
I
come
hope
forward.
so. I hope
We have
so.
great neighbors here.
Thank you.
Marcy, if
Yeah.
I may ask.
So you mentioned that there's a small fee for the membership.
Yeah.
Is there ever any possibility of a fleet of handymen that you could help, that could help?
We have looked into, we're actually part of a national movement, the village movement, and every village is different because every village is homegrown. And so it's based on local needs and resources. Some villages do offer referral services. We have, for now, chosen not to because it adds a level of complication that we're not prepared right now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yep.
Yeah. And another question I guess I would have is, I've been talking about something that I picked up in Boston at a conference, which is this zero responder concept, which the zero responder responds in an emergency before the first responders. And that makes it your neighbors, your community, and so on.
Right,
And it sounds like your organization, in some ways, is a model of zero responders, so.
We may be, yeah.
Could be
But
in
we,
an emergency situation.
yeah, but our services are such that we need advance notice so that volunteers will know what is out there to be done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it sounds
so
like
we
a
can't-
great network, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a great organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public who would like to address the board? Seeing nobody, I'm gonna, I didn't make an announcement, but I would like to make an announcement and talk about Mr. Thomas George. I have his card here, and I'm going to read the prayer of Saint Simeon. Lord, now hearest thou day, servant depart in peace, according to thy word. For my eyes have seen thy salvation, which thou hast prepared before the face of all the people, a light to enlighten the Gentiles, and the glory of thy people Israel. Hallett Funeral Home. This was Tom George's card. He was our town moderator for a number of decades, and he also served as the state representative for our district for 8 years. Somebody who I called my friend. I have far too many of these cards lately, but Tom guided our community for many, many years. And as I said to his wife, Alice, his sacrifice and service to our community over decades was really a family sacrifice because they dedicate so much of their time. And my sister had graduated with his son, Tom Jr., who died at the early age of 44 from ALS, and Tom is now reunited with his son. And I would just like to have a moment of silence for his many decades of service to our community, if you would join me for a moment. Thank you very much.
Can I just say before I leave, he was a member of Beta Sound Neighbors.
I'm sure there's that, that doesn't surprise me. He really was a great man who dedicated his life in service. So I don't know if anybody else on the board has anything to say.
I just say that I still miss Tom's wit at our town meetings. There was nobody like, he'd always get right to the point. And at the hottest point, he could always get a little laugh out of everyone. He was a wonderful guy. he will be missed.
Anybody else? Okay. Seeing that, we will move to our 6:15 agenda item, and it is a public hearing for a weekday and Sunday entertainment license for Stone Lovin' Pizza, DBA Cape Flats Pizza, Scott Lopes, manager. And while you're sitting there, Scott, I am going to read the public hearing notice into the record so we can open it. The Yarmouth Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority, has received an application from Stone Lovin' Pizza, DBA Cape Flats Pizza, located at 559 Route 6A, Yarmouthport, Massachusetts, 02675, by Scott Lopes, manager. Cape Flats Pizza proposes to offer indoor entertainment Monday through Sunday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. to include live acoustical music with up to 2 musicians, as well as occasional performances for the enjoyment of the patrons during regular business hours. These performances may include, but are not limited to, trivia nights or other casual, family-friendly entertainment suitable for a restaurant setting. Use of a small amplification system at low level is also requested. The hearing will be held in person on Tuesday, October 21st at Yarmouth Town Hall, 1146 Route 28. The Select Board meeting will begin at 6 p.m. Written comments will be accepted until 4:30 Friday, October 17th, in the Select Board's office at Town Hall. It could be submitted electronically to public comment at yarmouth.ma.us. Amy, has there been any correspondence on this application?
Nothing written, no.
Okay. All right, with that, I will open the public hearing, and you can introduce yourself and talk about what it is that you'd like to do.
Hi, I am Scott Lopes. I am the owner of Cape Flats Pizza. We changed the name from Yarmouth Pizza by Evan back in February, and just doing a lot of new things over there, renovations and everything. It's just completely different. So wanted to bring in some acoustic guitars in the wintertime for people in the town that are looking to get out, you know, a couple hours a night, and probably going to do it just 2 nights a week, you know, either like a Wednesday or Thursday night, just to kind of add to our, you know, array of what we want to do there. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So for people at home, what he's requested is a 2-piece live band with amplification system inside,
Yep.
just so people know, and a PA system low level, as it said in the advertisement. Amy, you want to, we'll get a certificate of insurance here. All of the paperwork for the application is in place. You've received the notifications to abutters.
I have.
Okay, and the green card's perfect. All right. With that, if the board's okay, we'll go to the public first, if that's all right.
I have a question, but I can wait
If you,
okay, pose a quick question.
Yeah.
You are serving outside now as well? I notice you have tables and chairs outside?
So, yeah, that was in the summertime. That was Jim, the old owner, brought that in with COVID on the outside
Oh,
deck.
okay.
Yeah.
And I believe you were here recently asking for your liquor license?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get it?
I did, yeah.
So
Yep.
you now also will be serving alcohol with the music? And
Yeah. We basically have a beer and wine bar.
Yeah.
We don't have full alcohol. I mean, we have a full alcohol license, but we don't do cocktails or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the ready-to-made drinks and beer and wine.
Thank you.
Kind of time. We're small.
okay, I'm going to go to the public. Is there anybody from the public who'd like to speak? Yes, ma'am, please go to the microphone if you don't mind, so people at home can hear you, and introduce yourself.
I'm Dina Dexter, and I live at 16, right behind you,
great.
16 Ware Road. Love the pizza.
All right.
Yes.
I do.
I was hoping he was going to bring me a scallop and bacon.
I was wondering, yeah. I just happen to have just a couple concerns that I'm
Okay,
hoping.
ma'am, you're going to address your concerns to the
sorry.
board, and we'll give him a chance to respond.
Just a couple concerns. We've been really good neighbors to each other, and I want to mention that I really want that to continue. My concerns, not in any particular order, are parking,
Yep.
noise, crowds. I think there's more crowds with music, and the dumpster, I really haven't seen it with you, but when it overflows,
I don't think that's related to, I mean, we need to stick to what.
okay, I was just going to say, just because if there's more crowds, there's more trash.
Gotcha.
So I was worried about that, and I'm actually, my thoughts are, when I read that it was 7 days a week, that maybe we could do it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, because as you can see, I'm still working. So if there's any kind of noise level, I don't mind it open till 10, but maybe Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, have it close back at 9, or just have trivia end at 9, things like that. And my husband, for a long time, was acoustic guitar player for many years for happy hour and everything. Probably would ask to play there, but just hoping to keep it not every day of the week.
Yeah, so we're not, no, I don't plan on doing it. I'm thinking at the most, like 2 days a week. And I put up to 2 acoustic guitar players. It'll be 1 to 2 at low levels. I guarantee won't even hear it outside the house.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Just so you know, he's asking for inside entertainment. He's not asking for outside, which means that he's going to have to be very, very careful to make sure that the noise is contained within the building.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
excellent.
I don't know how you're going to handle, that's another issue we'll have to talk about, but handling every time the door opens and closes, making sure that it's not intrusive or obstructive to the
Yeah,
neighbors.
without a doubt. So I'm a musician myself. I did this for years. The type of entertainment that I want to bring in, the type of music I want to bring in, it is a very low level. Like if you were to open the door, there's just no way the neighbor. We have kind of low ceilings and stuff, so I don't want to even be so loud where people are sitting there and are uncomfortable. It's supposed to be at a comfortable level where people can still converse and stuff. So I totally appreciate your concern. Regarding the traffic, I'm not going to do it in the summertime. I don't need to do it in the summertime. It's mainly to bring in extra business on kind of off nights in the wintertime.
Nice.
And it'll probably be done by 9 o'clock because my demographic likes to go to bed early,
Hey,
for
wait
sure.
a minute, I resemble that remark.
But yeah, no, it's not going to be that loud. Again, my concern will be the people in the store where they can come in, get a drink, and be able to talk and listen to the music and not get drowned out by it. Although I do like to go out and see bands and stuff where I can't stand going out and not being able to talk to somebody. So and if you ever do hear it, you just come on over. The windows will be up. Again, it's the winter time.
Right.
But I won't be doing it in the summertime. And again, the parking is a blessing because we've gotten busier. I don't want to do that in the summertime to add to the parking. So that won't be an issue.
Well, thank you for addressing my concerns. I look forward to listening.
Yeah, come over.
Well,
I will.
I appreciate your concerns too.
Well, thank you very
And just so
much.
you know, we do take these licenses very serious. So, if there are any issues, we can. I'm not sure how the board feels about it, but in any event, we ask that you do work with them, and having a license is a privilege. So if there are complaints,
Yeah.
we have to bring them back and make sure we address your concerns. So hopefully
Yeah.
we can make it so it sounds to me like you have a business owner here who's willing to listen.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, we want him to be successful, but we want our residents to live in peace. So we work together. Yes.
Yeah, I just was nervous over the 7 days a week. I was like, whoa.
Well, I think I had to put that just to designate if I I won't be playing every 7 nights a week.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jackie? I was like, how's Jackie here? How are you?
I'm the person on the other side.
Okay.
My name is Jackie Rivero, and I own the property that's at the corner of Weir Road and 6A, and they've been there since 1959, and I too am a former musician that played in clubs and stuff like that, so I think it's a great idea, but I am concerned about the traffic. One of my big concerns, this is ongoing anyway, is I have a driveway on the Weir Road side, and how do you keep people from going down the driveway? I had 3 very frightened tourists at night this summer because their GPS had said take a left off of Weir Road, and I deliberately don't maintain my driveway, so it's really creepy and weird. It's like driving into a Stephen King film. I just don't want people.
And
I
then
know,
they demand pizza.
well, I have the, but I just my concern is the traffic and keeping people from, I know there's not much you can do if people decide to sit in their car and eat pizza and throw their trash on my property. but-
Yeah, well, call me, I'll come pick it up. That disturbs me too. I mean, that's just part of being, good community in general, so we try our best to pick up the grounds and stuff. But yeah, if there's any issue like that, give me a call. I don't know if we can post anything, and, I mean, you don't want anything in your driveway, but I didn't know that happened. I apologize.
Well, I don't know that the tours were at your place and ended up on my
Oh,
driveway.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just an ongoing
Yeah.
issue with my driveway.
Yeah.
So that was, my concern is mostly the traffic.
Yeah.
And the 7 nights a week, I probably won't hear it anyway, because I'm part of that demographic that hits the hay by 7, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely work with you on the traffic, especially in the summertime. The wintertime, when we're doing this, I don't believe it's going to be an issue at all. I don't think we're going to be, turning into the Oliver's Plank Tavern where we get that packed. I don't think it's going to be like that. The summertime, it's always an issue with the parking. That's an ongoing thing, like you said. It's my first summer where there was a lot of parking, so we're trying to figure that out as well. Yeah.
The ice cream is great, by the way.
Oh, yeah, the killer, yeah.
Thank you, Jackie.
Anyway, thank you.
I hope you continue to work together if you see any concerns. Is there anybody else from the public that has any comments on this application? Seeing none, I'll take a motion from the board to close the public part of the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions? Liz?
No.
Joyce?
It seems like they work things out well with their neighbors.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in constant contact with them. To me, it's all more about I know we won't ever hear any of the noise. I guarantee that. It's always about the parking, but I'm more concerned about the summertime than what I'm going to be doing with the entertainment, so.
I didn't realize it
Yeah.
was just winter. I didn't realize you had to write the whole thing out.
Yeah, I mean, it is, yeah, we're doing it for year-round, but my business model is just basically for the winter. Yeah, yeah.
Dorcas, do you have
No
any?
questions.
Okay. I'll accept a motion.
Motion to approve the license as presented?
Second?
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Hopefully we have happy neighbors.
Yeah, I love the pizza.
Me too. Me too. All right, great.
I'll be in touch tomorrow.
Okay, so our next application is for Daggett's Liquors. If the people from Daggett's, I don't know if anybody's here, but if they are, they can come forward. And we'll have a discussion about that. But the Yarmouth Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority, has received an application for a transfer of license from 1078 Yarmouth Inc. to Daggett's Liquors, Maven Patel, manager, located at 1078 Route 28, Yarmouth, Mass. The new license will be Kapik Sharawa. Did I say that correctly?
Sounds good.
Okay. I'm sorry, Amy?
Happy Shwara?
Kapishwara, okay. Thank you. DBA Daggett's Liquors, and manager will be Rashik Patel. Hearing to be held on Tuesday, October 21st, in the hearing room at Town Hall, 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. The Select Board meeting begins at 6 p.m. Written comments will be accepted until 4:30 p.m. on Friday, October 17th, in the Select Board office at Town Hall, or could be submitted electronically to public comment at yarmouth.ma.us. Verbal comments will be accepted at the hearing. Were there any electronic or comments on this application?
There were not on the application. We did get a letter from the attorney representing the Kapishwara Corporation asking that this item be continued.
So I have to open the hearing first, which we just did, and this letter, just for the board's knowledge, just came in today. I guess I can, if you want, I can let you explain it. There's a little bit of a question behind it, and without going into any further things, we need to get some clarification on some things with the attorneys before I feel comfortable moving forward on this. So we're going to ask that this hearing be continued to December 2nd.
So moved.
Second?
Is there anybody here from, no, I just want to make sure that they're amenable to that date before we set it. But for now, we will move it. If we have to open it again and move it, we can, but it's been advertised. So, okay, so there's a motion to move it to December 2nd. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we will leave the public hearing open and continue that to December 2nd. Hopefully that's a date that works for them. Thank you for all your work on that. There's a lot of technicalities that go into this, and I know Amy's been working very hard. There's been a lot of paperwork back and forth, and a few questions that have arisen, so we need to get those clarified before we want to go forward. Thank you.
I have to thank the staff too, my fellow staff members, my coworkers with the town and the treasurer's office, as well as building, to get all this straightened out. So it'll be hopefully not in good order and not too long before we can come to a resolution and all can be satisfied.
Great. Thank you, Amy. All right, our next agenda item is the Yarmouth Substance Abuse Committee. We're going to discuss some of the opioid funds. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is it just you tonight?
No, I think Danny's on Zoom.
Oh, yes, Mr. Rodriguez. I see him there. We can bring him in.
Yes.
Perfect.
Hey, good evening,
Good
everybody.
evening. How are you?
Well, and yourselves?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking. All right.
All right, so thank you for having both of us here tonight
For coming,
to
Annie.
give an
Just
update.
introduce yourself for the record, please. and-
Sure, I'm Annie Catalano, and I serve as one of the co-chairs for the Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee, or YSAC.
And good evening, I'm Daniel Rodriguez. I am also one of the co-chairs for YSAC.
So,
And
thank
for the
you.
people at home, YSAC stands for Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so we have a little PowerPoint here we're going to go through, and Danny's going to start us off.
All right, well, again, good evening. It's such a privilege to be here with you all tonight. Just really excited to share alongside Annie some of the amazing work that's happening with our Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee. As you have shared, our goal is really to be in very robust and active group of volunteers who are looking to support and better understand the recovery-based needs of our community. So this has been an ongoing committee that has been formed with many different partners. So we are just excited to continue that work moving forward. So our first slide is just a little bit about our background. So the Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee is, again, representative of individuals who are either working in the field, are impacted by substance use disorder, or have interest in better understanding how to provide prevention interventions, treatment, or recovery supports. We are charged by the town of Yarmouth to be, as a committee, a server of awareness, education, and programming to, again, reduce the misuse of substances by our residents and to create a recovery community. And everything that we do is based around evidence-based practice. And ensuring that we're trying to do our best to bring those practices within the borders of Yarmouth. The committee is in partnership with other Cape community towns. We work really closely with some of our neighboring communities and are also active participants in the Barnstable Substance Awareness Committee, or RSAC, as part of the work that we do as well. The next slide is just a little illustration of the members that we have. We do have a 12-member steering committee with some secondary individuals for voting purposes and representation. This does not encompass the full group of members who come to the meetings, but we wanted to make sure that all aspects of the recovery field were covered in some capacity. So that stretches from having representation from first responders, treatment providers, folks who are doing harm reduction work in the community, adolescent providers. We have, over the past few years, had a really strong student representative who actually graduated this year, and we're looking for a new representative, but making sure that we have the voice of our youth in this committee as well, and then looking at parents of folks who have experienced substance use disorder, folks themselves with lived experience, and then just general membership for voting purposes. I will say that many of the folks who are a part of the YSAC do have lived expertise. Either they themselves have experienced a substance use disorder and are in their own form of recovery, or we do have many individuals who have family members, loved ones, individuals in their lives who have been impacted, and they themselves have been impacted by substance use. So one of the things that we try to do very heavily is to engage the community. YSAC has been very active in not just recovery-based settings. So your traditional resource fairs or locations where the content is focused on recovery and substance use. We love attending those, but what we also like to do is to attend non-traditional community events where we are able to be present with our volunteers to talk about the work that we do, but also being a resource broker for our community partners around creating conversation and better understanding of what services are currently engageable in our community. So, if someone's looking for support groups, where can they go? If someone discloses that they themselves are looking for treatment providers, how do we refer you to the appropriate individual or organization? So we want to make sure that we're active in a multitude of different arenas, so then that way we can reduce the stigma that comes with being someone who is either loving someone with substance use disorder or is experiencing it themselves. So with that, I would say that I just want to talk a little bit about the opioid abatement funds. So for folks who aren't a part of this committee or in the field, I think cleanest way to summarize this is that pharmaceutical companies, vendors, and distributors were a part of a lawsuit where they were being charged with increasing the opioid epidemic through their prescribing practices and distribution practices. As part of the settlement, many of these organizations ended up, again, settling with the courts to provide funding for communities across the United States to help remediate the effects of the opioid use disorder, which it has not gone away. We still know that there's a lot of work to be had there. But again, the inroad and where we saw a heightened amount of use was in many ways connected to prescribing practices. So Governor Healy at the time was able to support a $26 billion resolution, $500 million of that coming to Massachusetts, to be able to get directly into the hands of communities across Massachusetts to be able to, again, increase engagement and support for folks who are affected by substance use disorder. What that looks like from a guidance standpoint for our communities is that each community identified their own approach to how they wanted to disseminate or distribute the funds. The only guidance that was provided for Massachusetts, because they wanted it to be as least restrictive as possible, was to ensure that the spending was happening in certain pots, which included opioid use disorder treatment, supporting people in their treatment or on their pathway of recovery, connecting them to care, increasing access to harm reduction resources, which also includes access to overdose prevention medications such as naloxone, or better known as Narcan, addressing the needs of criminal justice involved individuals, supporting pregnant and parenting women who are incredibly high risk for overdose post-delivery, usually within the first year, and then prevention work in trying to get upstream of the epidemic rather than always being on the back end of treatment once folks have fallen into their active addiction to that substance. So what does this mean for Yarmouth? We wanted to pull a little bit of data to help folks understand what the distribution of funds will be within the town of Yarmouth for the upcoming years, because this is a multi-year settlement. So as you can see from the chart, there are a few different organizations, distributors, and companies who are contributing to the pot of opioid remediation, and the right side column shows year over year the amount of money Yarmouth will receive. I did see Bob there with you folks tonight. We actually, a few years back, advocated to see as a group if we could increase the amount of funding that Yarmouth was receiving, because we felt as though it wasn't reflective of the data that we had. And we never really got a great answer on how the algorithm was laid out and why we received significantly less money than some of our similar communities across Massachusetts. But the advocacy has not ended, but we wanted to be mindful of that. But as you can see here, there is a significant amount of money that it does decrease over time. But our task at hand for YSAC is to make recommendations for what to do with those funds. So with that, I will kick it over to Annie to continue the presentation.
Thank you so much, Danny. So essentially what we have done at YSAC is really just try to figure out where the needs are in the community based on people with lived experience, people that have come to our meetings, people we've heard from in the community, and figure out what's going to make the most sense. So essentially, we've opened up an application each year that the public can access through the website, the YSAC website, through the town website, and people can fill those out and send them in to us. Then we have formed a subcommittee, which is made up of a few members of our group who do not have an affiliation with anyone who has submitted an application, essentially, to try to make it more fair. And we review the applications to make sure that they're appropriate spending, anticipated amounts that they're looking for, and what services they're going to provide. And then based on that, the subcommittee makes recommendations and brings them back to the YSAC steering committee at our monthly meeting, where we discuss what was in the applications and the amount of money that we feel like is going to make the most sense to be allocated based on the amount of money we've received. So you saw all of those numbers up on the screen a minute ago. And so we don't always know when the money's coming in. We don't always know exactly what the amount is going to be. That's just a projection of what is to be anticipated. And sometimes they come in smaller amounts, so we have to kind of track all that stuff.
It's so helpful.
Yes. But what I will say is that finance has been unbelievably helpful to us. Maria, Jen, Svetlana with the contracts, everything. Like, we could not do any of this without all of them. So I thank them so much for what they do, because I'm just like, can you look and see when we got a deposit? Can you tell us when there's a deposit, right? Not their job, but they're so helpful in letting us know that. So once we are able to determine the amount that we actually have to allocate and the most appropriate applications, so far every application has been wonderful that we've received, we vote on it. So, and essentially the Board of Health will then create contracts for each of the recipients to review and sign, so that we're kind of all on the same page. Oops. Okay, so I think I went too far. Okay, so FY24, we had sort of these 5 categories. So the first one was a general, again, so looking at what was proposed, what people requested, and what was granted. We had a little bit of money left over. So we've been using that, and we still have money in that account as sort of a YSAC marketing fund. So that looks like a lot of different things. But as you saw in some of the pictures for our tabling supplies, so we have a tablecloth, we have things like stress balls and chopsticks and things like that we can take to those family-friendly events and have stuff to hand out, as well as information about what we do, and other community partners can give us their information as well. So we still have some money in there for those kinds of things. But the first year, the Duffy Health Center had 2 programs that they've been funding. The Alternative Peer Group, which is a teen-based program, giving teens social activities and a safe place to be together in an arena where there is no substances. Then the RSN, Recovery Support Navigator Program, they do a lot of different things, but supplying basic needs to those in the community that they're interacting with on a daily basis that have those needs. The AIDS Support Group of Cape Cod, they do a lot of different things, but also supply like basic needs, harm reduction supplies, things like that. And then the Yarmouth Comprehensive Treatment Center is our only methadone clinic on the Cape. And they are specifically using their money for transportation. So any residents of Yarmouth who cannot do not have transportation and cannot afford transportation to get their daily methadone treatment, they can use this funding for those residents to pay for them to get there. So that was the first year. Oops. Okay. The second year, excuse me, so very similar. So Yarmouth Comprehensive Treatment Center, again, using transportation for their patients. the Duffy Health Center's 2 programs, the Alternative Peer Group for Teens and the RSN Basic Support Needs, the AIDS Support Group of Cape Cod. We took some of the money from our marketing fund and reallocated it into 2 specific events we held last year, which was we created floats in the St. Patrick's Day Parade, partnered with Duffy. Their incredible mobile unit pulled our float that we created. We had people of all ages on the float, and then we handed out some candy, but we also handed out some of our YSAC marketing materials as well. And then we also did a similar float in the parade for the 4th of July in the Chatham Parade. So that was kind of 2 extra marketing ways we got some information out there last year. And then the new organization we had got an application from last year was called Parents Supporting Parents. If you haven't heard of them, great organization who supplies scholarships to anyone who can't afford once they leave treatment. Detox tends to be 5 to 7 days. And if they want to further their treatment and move into a sober house, which is great for their recovery, but they aren't always able to come up with the money that quickly. So they give them a small scholarship that pays for like their first 2 weeks to kind of get them in the door, get them settled, and kind of stabilize themselves as they're out there looking for a job to be able to continue to pay their rent there. So that's what they're doing. And then our most recent round of funding, we just put together the contracts for these a couple weeks ago, is again very similar stuff. Duffy Health Center's Alternative Peer Group and Recovery Support Navigator, again, the basic needs in their teen program. AIDS Support Group, they've also added, AIDS Support Group continues to do harm reduction and basic needs. They've also added naloxone, if I'm saying that right, boxes in public places across the community, and they're also doing a lot of community education and training as well. And then Parents Supporting Parents, again, had requested funding. So that is sort of an overview of how we've disseminated funds over the last 3 years. And that's it.
And Annie, if I just may add, the spend or the dissemination of funding has been really in line what we have also heard from members within our YSAC community, but the most recent needs assessment that was completed by the county that talked about the largest barriers to folks accessing support for their recovery is transportation, housing, and also a major impact related to social determinants of health. So where are they going to get their next meal? Where are they going to be able to find funding to be able to support their apartment or electricity or whatever that may be? So I think the focus across the region has been to try to invest money into breaking down those barriers. So we are just very excited to see that the organizations who have applied are really working to meet those gap areas which were identified in that report. So thank you.
Thank you, Danny. I just want to say, too, thank you to Bob, to everybody here that has been so supportive when this first came out. I don't think anyone quite knew where we were going or what we were doing or how we were going to do it. And we worked really well together, I believe. And we really were able to take in so many different people's perspectives, ideas, feedback. There were some grand ideas that were like, we'll never have that much money, but let's keep talking about how we can do that on a smaller scale, and really being able to we had a community forum for people to really say, this is what the needs are and this is where this money should go. And we have just had unending support from you. Thank you, all of you. And like I said before, the health department, since Sarah's taken on her position there, she has been absolutely fantastic, getting everything paid so quickly, turning things around. She is like so organized on top of it, and we could not do this without all of you. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I have several questions before I go to the board. Your application, is that a rolling or is there a cutoff?
So we usually have it for a cutoff because the funding is for the fiscal year. So we usually have it, the application is due by the end of the fiscal year, so June 30th.
Okay. How many applications this year? I noticed that it shrunk this year to only 4. They got a larger amount. Mm-hmm. But how many applications did you get that weren't funded?
None.
That was it. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Is it only eligible for nonprofits, or do you consider all groups?
No, we consider everybody.
Interesting. I'm curious, I know that he talked about the county and I love the data-driven piece. I know I say this every time you're here, I am a huge proponent of prevention. I think, I'd be interested in if you have certain ones that you go, if you break it down, like for some for prevention, some for treatment. It looks like they're all in the treatment for the most part. Personally, I feel like, years ago when they invested all their money into the anti-smoking thing, once somebody has an addiction, it's a lifelong thing, right? So I believe, should focus a lot more on prevention and education to try to get that to not happen in the first place. And I'd be interested if your committee has a way of, seeing if you could disperse some. I know for years Duffy was working with the school, and I'm a huge supporter that, and I see Dr. Smith here, that we need a full-scale program in our education system. It seems like, and this is no disrespect to your work. I mean, the money problem is a problem because it's short. You don't know if you're going to get it, as you said. It would be nice if we had a funding source, a committed funding source, consistent, that we could actually do like a full holistic education program that reaches an age-appropriate level consistently.
Yeah.
We've not been able to do that.
Sorry, my apologies, not to cut you off. It actually, out of the individuals who are currently being funded, to your point, the work that's happening with the alternative peer group is not just a treatment program, but there has been investment over the past year of having all of those staff members certified to complete a curriculum called I Decide, which is more on the prevention side of the house. Also, to expand a little bit more on that, I also do have the privilege of sitting as one of the co-chairs for the Regional Substance Addictions Council, so the RSAC. And the county itself has actually worked really hard to get BOTVIN life skills training, which is that age-appropriate curriculum for being able to really promote the prevention side of the wing. That has not been heavily utilized by school districts. So even though the county itself is really pushing to have a consistent curriculum across each of the communities, that has been met with some challenges with implementation. So that is what is being tackled at a regional level at the same time that we're looking to supplement that work with what we're doing within Yarmouth. Actually, Annie and I have some upcoming conversations with the Yarmouth schools around, rejuvenating their commitment to some of this prevention work. And I can speak for the alternative peer group and the PASS program, which is supported through Behavioral Health Innovators, where we have been pushing really hard to get that information out to younger ages, and just trying to figure out from a DESE perspective, which is obviously our Department of Secondary Education, how that aligns with what the schools locally are willing to do, aka DY, in allowing outside resources to come in. So not a great, solid, clear answer, but
it's a great answer,
the work
Chris.
is happening.
I appreciate that very much. I think that's a great answer, and I feel like the schools are in a difficult position too, because they have criteria that they have to meet on so many different levels. But we got to educate the whole child, and they do a great job of it. I'm sure it's just a matter of timing and fitting it into their schedule. But I feel like we're consistently it's a piecemeal, and nobody. And I wish DESE as a whole would create a curriculum that was mandated in all educational programs, because I think that would solve a lot of the issues. But until then, I'm happy to hear that you're working on it. I'm not trying to criticize. I just feel like we're so many years into this, and like I said, I wish the funding was consistent, because it's very piecemeal, and I'm big. I think education is really the way you're gonna do it, but it's gonna take years before we can if we don't start at a very young age and educate them all the way up. I love that you're doing the team programs. That's something that I feel is another wonderful thing, having positive events and things where they can go and be safe. I think anytime you provide opportunities for teenagers that are in such a, this world that we live in now is, everything's instant, they got to be cool, they got to look cool. So if we can make cool places for them to be together and that's safe, I think those are wonderful things. But Mark?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight and for all the work that you and everybody else on your committee's doing. Is there anything else that we should be doing? What else can we do in support of your efforts?
Oh, that's a nice question. I wasn't expecting that.
question.
I can't think of an answer other than what you've already been doing. It's been so helpful to know that you all are supporting what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's
No,
been very helpful,
I think it's important for you to understand, we're genuinely very, very interested in your work. We've talked quite a bit about getting you before us with more frequency so that we can keep up to speed with what you're working on and what you're doing. We just genuinely want to be supportive and helpful because we know how important this issue is in our community. And I think coming before our board and talking about it just creates an awareness that we need to sustain as well. We need to make sure that everybody in our community is aware of not just this issue, but some of the good work that's going on to address it in ways in which we and others in the community can be helpful. So don't be shy about coming here with a list of things for us or others in the community to do, okay?
Yeah, Danny and I are not shy. Danny, did you have anything?
We
else?
for sure are not shy. And I do want to echo what Annie did say, but I think one message that I would kind of share with the group is from your perspectives, being able to support us with continuing to kind of beat the drum that Yarmouth is a recovery community, aka we are not shying away from recognizing that our residents have their own struggles, have their successes, have their stories, have their positive outcomes and negative outcomes, and that those folks are welcome and are able to be a active member within our community is huge. There are other communities on Cape Cod who are not willing to go that far and are unwilling to say that there are issues and community members that need this support within their own four walls of their borders. So this is my very convoluted way of showing gratitude, as Annie had said, to each of you, and also supporting us in messaging the fact that we are a recovery community and we will continue to do that for our residents here in Yarmouth.
Very good. Thank you.
Dorcas?
I want to thank you very much for the work that you've been doing. It's a tragic fact of life for us right now, and the loss that we have had in our young population is staggering. And I just, again, as Tracy's talking about, whatever we can do for prevention is just so key. And as Mark's saying, whatever we can do to help you, believe me, come back anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the work and love you put into this, Annie and Daniel, and I wish you continued success in what's an important contribution to our community.
Thank you.
Liz?
I echo my mates. The ribbon display that was on the front lawn, that's part of your effort, is it? Was it?
Yeah, so I know Danny can talk more to it. Duffy Health Center did one on their front lawn, and then there was another one that the county did on the front lawn of the Superior Courthouse on 6A there as well. Is that what you're referring
One that was
to?
in front of Town
Yep.
Hall.
So to answer that question a little bit more pointed, Dawn Roche, who is actually one of the members of our YSAC, her son is a gentleman who passed from opioid overdose. And she has been the very active voice in bringing awareness to Overdose Awareness Day and Recovery Month. So that is, at the end of the day, a tribute to the work that she's done for our larger community around overdose awareness. So that I will give Dawn all the props in the world because she is a powerhouse. She is the same person who hosts the annual Smugglers Beach Overdose Awareness event. We're just very lucky to be a part of that journey with her and to support her along the way.
It was striking, and I had people mention it to me about, wow, look at all those ribbons. So that is a very effective way of bringing it forward. Because, yeah, if it's not in front of you, you know, it's just not something we're aware of.
Yeah.
Also, there is a transition center on 28, I believe. Is that it related? No, Kathy's saying no.
No,
Okay,
that is not.
all right. But thank you, and I do think it's important to reach out, and I wonder too, I visited the Brazilian Resource Center today, and that might be another place for this group to coordinate some efforts, some outreach,
Sure,
so.
absolutely.
But thank you. And
Thank
it's
you.
important to keep it, the visual is very important, so yay, Dawn.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
She is behind a lot of things.
She's amazing. She actually goes from town to town and makes sure that our first responders, our police and fire, you'll see the purple ribbons on them throughout the Cape. That's her.
Good.
She does all that
Good
work.
to know.
Yep.
Yeah, she's amazing. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the update and your continued hard work. And at some point in time, we haven't had the police department in a while where we talked about numbers and statistics to see, you know, how we're really doing with it, which is the key, right? Hopefully, we net some positive results and we save lives. That's what it's about. So I appreciate all the work that you guys do. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much, David. Daniel, sorry. Daniel
Oh, no
as
worries.
well.
It's a privilege to be here tonight with you folks. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Danny.
All right, next we have our local comprehensive plan article for discussion. I see Kathy. Good evening.
Evening.
Tickled. Go away. Tea here, it's too hard to drink. I can't get the top off. Go everywhere.
Just step out for a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Amanda do.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob.
Good
like a
evening,
nice
Madam Chair and members of the Select Board. I'm Joanne Crowley, Chair of the Planning Board, and I am joined by our Town Planner, Kathy Williams, this evening. Also, Planning Board member Susan Britta is here as well. She has joined us this evening. Thank you for this opportunity to review the final updated Yarmouth Local Comprehensive Plan prepared for adoption at the 2025 Special Town Meeting in November.
Wow. How about that? That must sound good after all your work.
We met one of your goals.
Amazing, there's no doubt.
Your number one goal last year. And at our October 15th meeting, 2025, we voted unanimously to recommend the LCP to be included on the warrant. The Planning Board would also like to thank the many members of the public who have participated in so many meetings with us and have been so informative, including our most recent public hearing on October 1st. Their interest and their participation is really greatly appreciated. In your packets this evening, we have provided a memo from Kathy providing an update since we last met with you on August 12th. We've also included comments from the 30-day public review period, which occurred in August. We've also provided comments received at our public hearing. And Kathy, again, has prepared a PowerPoint presentation to summarize some of the changes that have happened so far and incorporated into the final draft. The Planning Board is hopeful that you will look favorably upon this article because we've worked really hard, as has the members of the public, to help us make it the best document we can. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Kathy, who has a brief PowerPoint presentation. And then we have another item on the agenda following this with regard to the zoning article on boat parking.
Good evening. What we're really concentrating on this evening is just the changes that were made since we gave the presentation to you guys on August 12th. So some of the, other than, general clarity and legibility and grammars and that type of thing, some of the notable changes that have been incorporated into the October 2025 LCP, we've expanded the table of contents, making it easier to navigate around. We also added a glossary of terms. We included the reference to sustainability in both our vision statement and our growth policy. We did add some additional information into the climate mitigation and energy section, some of the information we received from Liz Argo, and incorporated that in. And then we also relocated the targeted action items to directly behind Chapter 3, which is the existing conditions, key issues and needs and recent actions, just for easy reference instead of putting it at the end of the LCP. And then we made modifications to 8 action items, which I'll go over very briefly. So in transportation and connectivity, we added a new action that really evaluate the potential of undergrounding overhead utilities for roadway improvement projects, looking at that on a project-by-project basis, seeing whether that's something that can be readily incorporated into a project. For climate mitigation and energy, we did update the fact that we did recently hire a municipal energy manager and incorporated that into the plan, as well as updating an action item related to the Energy Committee, who is working on their new 5-year vision plan with objective strategies and performance standards. And then also, with regard to waste management, we updated that action to reference the new disposable plastic foodware rules and regulations for food establishments that was recently developed and approved by the Board of Health, and has been also the proposed rescission of the 2023 general bylaw, which that new regulation would take the place of. For town services, we did add a new action item to develop a comprehensive emergency management plan update. I spoke with the fire chief, and he's working on that actively now. We eliminated the old Action 7 regarding triple redundancy for communications at the police station, because the police chief indicated that that work has been completed. With regard to economy, this came as kind of an 11th hour letter from the Fishermen's Alliance, and it was very, very thoughtful letter about the kind of the economic benefits of commercial fishing in the town of Yarmouth. So we wanted to make sure that we took that into consideration. So we added a new action item under economy to protect and enhance commercial fishing, shell fishing, and aquaculture industries. And then something similar along the same lines, we modified the fresh and saltwater resources, modified the action to maintain and enhance commercial shellfish and fishery resources in addition to recreational. And then, as Joanne mentioned, the planning board voted to recommend the article to adopt the October 2025 local comprehensive plan at their October 15th planning board meeting, and we'll hope you guys will do the same this evening. Thank you.
Great. That was very nice, condensed, just updates. I'm very happy with all of them. I think you guys have done a great job. Mark, do you look like
Sure.
you look, for some reason you look ready.
I'm looking at your this slide here. The paint, is it a painting or a print that was on your first slide?
That's actually a photograph that I got from the Chamber of Commerce.
Really?
It could have been a painting. It was so gorgeous.
Beautiful. Is that going to be on the document?
I don't think it's in there now, no.
I think.
You should, okay.
I think. No, it's beautiful. It's stunning. I think. Yeah, I think it's a winner. I think it's a home run.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that original slide was just. Huh?
Bass Hole.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So that
Sunset on Cape Cod.
right there, bingo.
The trash can.
Yeah, that's
That's me, by the way.
We knew the orange boat.
yeah. There's Joyce out there too. I see. No, I think I just want to once again commend you for all the work that you've done on this. At the last meeting, I was pretty worked up about the lack of the financial information, and I realized after talking to Cape Cod Commission staff that I was looking at guidelines that have long since come and gone. This kind of information is something that they were really encouraging that we put in our plans, and I've noticed that they have sort of let go a little bit on getting that kind of information. So they updated me, and I'm glad that we're going to work on pulling together something separately in our own capital budgeting process, because I think we're at a critical time right now in the community. And I was kind of hoping that this document could be a way to help educate people on the major challenges facing us as a community as we grow and develop. So my hope is that through the capital budgeting process, through these other processes, we can find a way to educate people on the challenges that we're faced, because they're significant, and we've got a lot of work to do. I'm glad you've taken the letter from the Commercial Fishermen's Alliance. I think it's important for us to never lose sight of the value that the importance of our fishing community. And the reality is that they don't ask us to do much, all right? They don't really ask much of our community, and that's why the zoning articles are important. That's why making references to the importance of commercial and fishing, in this document are important. I think we all need to find ways to be very, very supportive of the industry. So I'm glad we've taken a stab at this, in this document. So I think we're ready to go. I think we're pretty much done. I think you've done. I don't think you could ever do more outreach and more public involvement than you've done on this particular project. I think it's all well done. So I'm pleased with where things stand, and I'm glad we're gonna we have another way of addressing some of the long-term capital budgeting and financing. So once again, thank you.
Dorcas?
I just want to thank you for your yeoman's work. I mean, it's incredible. Here we are at the Seaside Festival, and there's Kathy putting up the tent and out there and got her cards and her hat and everything. You've done a tremendous, tremendous amount of work, and I think that you can feel very comfortable in knowing that you have presented a plan that has active participation. You've gone to the far reaches of town to make sure that that happens, and I thank you very much for that.
Joyce?
Thank you for the multi-year community dialogue that brought us to this, aspirationally, and let's hope we all can live up to your planning, but it's superb planning.
Liz?
Yay. This was why I ran back last year. So to see the vision come forward is really exciting. It's such a building block. So what's the next process vis-a-vis the Cape Cod Commission?
We would need to submit to them for certification, which requires another public hearing with them. But usually by the time you get there, they're all there being your cheerleaders. They're just happy that you've gotten through and that you've done the community involvement and it's your community's plan.
So we vote on it at town meeting and then it
Happen first, correct.
I would take an opportunity. We met the Energy Committee met last night, and they were everybody's thrilled that you heard that we thought that was not leaned into as much as we'd hoped. And boy, you just heard us and did it. And that's like with the fisheries, so gratifying that there are ears and that it's not, hey, we did it, we're done. You kept going. And the Energy Committee was looking for more of a list of action items that they would then accomplish. And I think that that's something that they're going to develop on their own.
Right.
Great, and bring it forward. But everybody's very, very supportive, and thank you.
Excellent. My only other question is, how will your presentation at town meeting be to take such a significant document that we've dealt with for so many years that is so complex and be able to, deliver it in a succinct way that people can really understand?
It's going to have to be higher level.
Yeah.
It's going to have to talk, I haven't really thought about it significantly, but I feel like we'll probably get 10 minutes to give a presentation on it. So just talking about what's included in it and what it is and what it isn't. This is the 10,000-foot view. This is not a detailed assembly instructions for our community. Those are where the details come into things like the Energy Committee will develop some of those more details. And also just emphasizing that there's a lot of infrastructure that is included in the LCP, but voting to adopt the LCP isn't voting to spend a dime.
Right.
This is just the roadmap where we're heading. We'll probably be switching it as we go along, but we needed to start somewhere. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I haven't quite thought it through.
Right. Well, I thank you for that.
Yeah, I think the tricky part there will be helping the town meeting members understand that an individual action item isn't something that they are voting on to do.
Correct. I think
Especially with regard to the portion that's on necessarily the two chapters that are relatively specific, housing and the capital. Town meeting is not voting on approving those things to do. We are not authorizing anything, and we're not appropriating anything. And that's going to be the tricky part to help the town meeting members understand that there's no appropriations and there's no authorizations associated with this document, really, other than the fact that it is a really valuable thing that will help us secure funding for a lot of different areas in the future.
It's a
That's
plan.
really, that's really what it's about. It's a thing we have to do, that we want to do, and it's something on your portfolio when you put forward an application for a grant or something else. You are way ahead of everybody else if yours is a good one and it's been accepted by everybody and it's current. And this is current, and we've got a lot of stuff going on in town right now where we will be applying for grants, next year and the year after, and we've got a living new document here. This isn't a 2017 or 2019 document. So that's going to be the tricky part, I think, in terms of our communication at town meeting.
I agree.
And we would welcome your help.
Yeah.
I just think
We would
it's a
welcome your
plan.
help
Yeah.
in terms of
And-
shaping
and-
that presentation and that conversation.
Moving forward, I think it's important that people know that there will be further discussions on each of the points before anything really does go forward. So there will be a point. I just worry about getting mired down in the detail of every point in it. While people's opinion obviously are very important, we've taken a lot of input, and we're never going to make 100% of people happy on every piece. But it's a plan, and as you said, there's no, we're not authorizing any plan, we're not expending any funds, and there will be a process in the future for each of those to participate in. So, good luck with that. Yeah.
Madam Chair, I think we need to talk about the communication side, but maybe not tonight, but maybe at a future meeting, because you're right, it is important. And I think we have to make an extra effort to direct people to where they can read the plan rather than having to read it to people on the town meeting floor. The more we can get the word out soon, I have this vision of a sign, the flashing lights sign, read your LCP, right? Read our LCP.
Stop sign at Wood Road,
Yeah. Huh?
kind of like that.
No, but I think what we need to do is we need to invest some time and energy in educating people before the meeting, why we're even doing it, what's in it, and why the approval is important. I don't think many people are aware that it's a legal requirement. It was laid out under the Cape Cod Commission Act, and we have a regional policy plan that's going through a review process, and we need to explain how the local comprehensive plan fits in. And we're not the only town that's doing it; every town's doing it. And our plan, quite frankly, looks very similar to a lot of the other plans. There's nothing in here that's earth-shattering. It's helping pull the pieces together of a whole variety of components and aspects of our community to show how many of these things tie together. So I think the more we can get people to see it and get a chance to get their arms around it on their own time, whether that's having a PDF version published on our website with a video
on social media.
something on social media. I think
Logging.
this is going to be a real challenge for our communications team to really get that information out. And I'm happy to work and help and lend a hand if that's something that's needed or wanted. I'm happy to
Well,
do that.
I think we'll probably lean heavily on our communications director. She's been great on lots of other things, and I'm sure she'll be able to step right up and help us on this one.
I hope so. Thank you.
I would love to see something, following up on Mark's mention of communications, like the top 3 reasons why your support of this is important now. And you could put at the bottom, P.S. this isn't costing you any money, is like the 3rd thing. But that it's your emotional support and your belief that's necessary, and that this will bring resources into Yarmouth. And I think there must be a way to put that in 3 bullet points.
Thank you, Joyce.
Liz.
When was the last LCP?
The LCP is in chops and pieces. Some stuff goes back to the 1990 something, and then there's the most recent was in 2015. So this is one full, all-on, comprehensive, concise document.
Will we be charged with doing another one in the future?
You typically want to be
God, I
looking
hope
at
this
them
is it, right?
every 10 years.
10 years,
Yeah.
okay.
We're doing annual progress reviews to see how we're doing.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, just logistically, what happens to the chapters that have been previously approved by doing this? Does that supersede it, or do we have to take action on those previous approvals?
I would assume this would totally supersede it.
Yes, it does. The new plan updates everything.
Okay. 'Cause I know that there have been chapters that have been approved by town meeting.
And I think one of the solutions that maybe we talked about for the plastics is also a challenging public relations, communications issue. And one of the solutions that was come up with for that was the FAQs, the FAQs. So to have a nice FAQ, and I have a sort of an outline question. Is our opioid awareness effort in this?
Support of the YSAC is in there.
Absolutely fantastic.
Great. On to the zoning articles.
Okay. Again, thank you for this opportunity. The Planning Board zoning article related to boat parking, prepared for adoption at the 2025 special town meeting in November. In your packet this evening is a memo from Kathy summarizing the article. At our October 15th meeting, the Planning Board, we voted unanimously to recommend the article to be included in the warrant. Again, the Planning Board would also like to thank the many members of the public who have participated and informed and helped our deliberations with regard to this particular zoning article, and those who attended our public hearing on September 17th. Their interest and participation is greatly appreciated. Kathy, I'm not sure if you want to run through the summary. Not much has changed.
Yeah, we did, as Joanne mentioned, have a very good, robust discussion at the planning board meeting, taking into consideration the comments that we did receive from the select board. I think ultimately, taking a lot of different things into consideration, they decided to keep in the seasonality clause. So what you see in the warrant is what was recommended by the planning board.
Does anybody have any questions on the article or any changes to the article?
No, I was a proponent for keeping the seasonality, so I continue to feel that way.
I figure with climate change, all seasons are going to be increasingly similar.
Yeah, and with respect to the seasonality, yeah, my view hasn't changed on it. I think it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem from an enforcement point of view, as the building inspector has said. I also think we can't lose sight of the cost that it'll incur with some people. It's almost like an added financial burden. There are not many people that can afford the kind of boat storage requirement that literally will create a financial burden for people. So I think from my point of view, while I don't agree with the language as written, I will be supportive of the compromise. You folks have shaped the compromise. I will vote in favor of recommending the article. I would be happy to support an amendment to the article that strikes that language, but nonetheless, I think you've done a great job in paying a lot of attention to both the lobster issue and the boat storage issue. I think both of them really relate to who we are as a community. We're a boating community, we're a fishing community. There are a lot of people that love to work and recreate on our ocean. And, I'm someone who wants to make as many accommodations as possible, so I get all that. So we'll give, again, as the chair has said before, that it's important for us to give the people the opportunity to vote on it at town meeting. So I appreciate all the time and energy that the planning board has spent on this. You've taken a lot of time away from other pressing and important matters to focus on these two items, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much. Yes, I agree. I may not agree with that article particularly, but I agree with having watched your process, having watched you take in and take so much time to try to accommodate so many people and come up with a balance, which is really what you've done. Obviously, you really have just which we need more in government, right? We need more people to just come together and find the happy ground, and I think that that's what you tried to do here. I'm not sure it's going to resolve any of the issues. I mean, people have to pay for boat storage now, but
I will say the planning board is in parallel with all of you, that this is an item that should be in front of the town meeting members, and that there are differing opinions among the planning board members. But we felt generally we should recommend it to be on the warrant. Not unlike you, I hope.
no, I want it on the warrant. I believe it, as I've said before, I believe it belongs in front of the people. I don't personally support it. I don't think I've been quiet about that at all, but it doesn't mean it's not a good article. It has no reflection of your work. It is what it is. I see the enforcement as an issue. I see the enforcement as an issue now. As far as being a voting community, we've always been a voting community. This thing's been in our bylaws for years. It doesn't change any of that. So they're still going to have to, I'm more comfortable with having the restriction on it, although I do agree with Mark, it will be harder to enforce, but it's a good compromise, because otherwise they're sitting there all year long. And that's certainly not something that I want. So we'll see what happens, but it's I'm still very, very appreciative of everything that you've done. I think you've come up with a great middle ground.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're going to move on to the recommendation.
When did the lobster farming come up?
Well, we're going to talk.
Lobster sale.
We're going to go
Moving on.
over the warrant.
Okay,
in a minute.
okay, so they go away for that. Okay, I see.
Nothing's changed. They
We
only,
needed to grab them.
nope, not at all. So we're going to go through the warrant now, and we will make our recommendations on the articles and our votes on that. So are you going to get into every article, or are we just going to go through it?
We'll hit, every article needs a recommendation. We've
Yes.
discussed them. If you want any discussion, feel free. I just want to point out with the warrant, this week at the direction of the board, we've made a couple amendments in moving the articles around, and the LCP article earlier, the feasibility study for the school a little bit later, and adding the MacArthur School article, and everything else is the same as you've seen it in previous weeks. And the first article that requires a recommendation is Article 1 on the OPEB transfer.
Is there a recommendation from the board is there a motion to recommend Article 1?
I move that I move the recommendation of Article 1.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 5-0.
And next is the analysis of the PFAS groundwater contamination.
Does anybody want a discussion on that? And I don't think anything's changed on it. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to support the analysis of PFAS groundwater contamination.
Article 2. Okay, is there a second to that? Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 5-0.
Madam Chair, I vote to recommend Article 3.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Anybody want any further clarification? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously, 5-0.
Madam Chair, I recommend Article 4.
Second.
Any discussion?
I would just like to point out that I was appreciative that the word continued was added. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to mention, yes, thank you for adding it.
All right, any further discussion on Article 4? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Article 5, structural analysis for Lawrence MacArthur School.
I move to recommend Article 5.
Second.
It's for $130,000. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Support Article.
Madam Chair, I vote to recommend Article 6.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I
Passes
vote to, I motion to recommend Article 7.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I have a very controversial motion to make on Article 8.
All right, let's do it.
Move to recommend.
Oh, wow. Town meeting time?
Yeah,
All right.
Second.
Yeah, okay.
it's a hot issue, you know.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
I think he's pulling your clock.
All right.
Yeah, not really.
Wow, I don't know how I'm going to vote on this one. All's in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. You abstain?
No.
Oh,
Aye.
okay, thank you. That's 5-0.
Okay.
Golf Enterprise,
I move to recommend Article 9.
Second.
any discussion on the motion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
I move to recommend Article 10.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Move to recommend Article 11.
Ooh, I think I see a typo on 10.
Shout it out.
It's 550,000? Or 500,000?
Yeah, that is a typo, and
It's written in words, 500,000 too.
I think the correct amount is 550
So we need to fix that. That's in the article itself.
in the
sum.
article itself.
Do we,
Thanks
That's
for
a good
catching
catch. So I move to recommend with that revision.
Second.
oh, okay, good.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Article 11,
Move to recommend.
Second.
any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Revision to the dog bylaw.
Oh, I recommend that we,
Wait,
Weren't we going to discuss
we were
that?
going to have a presentation on this.
There's a hearing coming up on November 4.
Okay,
Okay.
can we hold our recommendation on this? When are you printing this?
This would have to be printed before that, so you can recommend that on town meeting
Yeah,
floor.
I personally,
Yeah.
I'd.
Let's do that.
I would like more information
Yep.
on it.
So we're holding off on that, huh?
So, Madam Chair, I move that we hold
Yep,
on
hold.
a recommendation for Article 12 until
second.
town meeting.
Okay. I just won't take action on that one. All right, Article 13, which is the school feasibility study.
I move to recommend.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Move to recommend Article 14.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimously. Article 15. Zoning for boat parking.
I move to recommend Article 15.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes.
Just a point of order. By recommending it, I'm not specifically, I'm basically just recommending that it come to the town meeting
No.
floor.
No, because we've already made a warrant. This is our this is not whether or not it gets put on. When the planning board makes their motion, it gets put on. This is whether or not we recommend to the people the support of
To
the
support
article.
it.
To support the article.
Yeah.
So you're committing to put your boat here or there with this?
Well, you're committing to the year-round portion, I mean, the seasonality portion of it.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
I know
I'm
it's
ready to vote.
complicated when you have a piece of it that you like the majority of it. You could not,
I think the reason why I'm going to vote to recommend is because the chair has made it very clear that the planning board's open to revisiting it if there's some complications, there's some issues that could come up. So that's the basis for my recommendation in support.
I hear you. Okay, I'm ready to vote.
all is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. 3-2. And that will be a discussion.
3 yes, 2 no?
Yes, 3-2. I think it's worthy if somebody asks you why you don't recommend, that you don't, it's, again, it's not a reflection of the bylaw overall, it's just the piece of it that you,
Have an
and
issue.
perhaps there will be an amendment and a discussion. All right, okay, great. So, are we going to now, we need to,
Need a motion to approve and execute the warrant as amended.
So moved?
Second.
any discussion on that motion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. It's 5-0 to execute. Are we going to, no, I think it's our next agenda that we will appoint who is going to,
We'll have the motions, assign the articles. We're going to have a mini town meeting, go through all of the articles for the public, and a special public hearing on the dog article.
When?
November 4.
Okay, so that's November.
Okay. All right, so we will divvy them up. There's not too many.
No.
We'll only get 3 each.
Oh, gee.
It'd be so much fun. All right. So is there anything else with the warrant that we need to?
No, all set.
All right, great. There's a letter here in our packet from Julian Sear, or to Julian Sear, relative to a vote that had already occurred and adopted at special town meeting on April 9th, 2025. It needs to be submitted. So I'd ask for a motion to approve the letter that says, Dear Julian Sear, at their regular meeting held on October 21st, 2025, the Select Board of the Town of Yarmouth voted to forward to you the attached petition for special legislation as adopted by Yarmouth Town Meeting on April 9th, 2025. The board kindly requests you file this request for special legislation with the General Court of the Commonwealth. Thank you for your assistance with this legislation, and this is relating to the Department of Natural Resource employees. And it was
Madam Chair, I move to approve the letter to the
Second.
senator.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, perfect, next step. All right, and the next one is a vote that's going to authorize our town administrator to file an application and execute agreements for grants and/or loan assistance relative to the Water Department for cybersecurity upgrades.
So moved,
There-
Madam Chair.
Okay,
Second.
any discussion on the motion?
Can you just educate me a little bit on this?
I was going to,
We have the computer SCADA system
Right.
that operates all of the, the water
Oh,
pumps, and it's extremely important
Okay.
technology.
Say no more. I got you. Thank you.
yes, something happened to another Massachusetts community recently. And so I think that this is an important thing to secure
Very important.
our system.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
One other thing I just wanted to point out on this is that she references additional funding that has been accruing to the water department through the town IT department's cybersecurity. We have, I think, one of Southeastern Mass's leading cybersecurity programs that have been funded heavily by state grants. We're planning our next tabletop exercise as we speak, and you read about some of our area communities that have had critical problems with this, and it's so seriously debilitating. You just need to know that Yarmouth is making cybersecurity. It's one of our huge initiatives. You don't hear a lot about it, but we are extraordinarily active on it, and that's all through the IT department. Paul Chaffee's been
And
the project
that makes a
manager.
lot of sense in this, when I visit the IT department, and there's so much going on that level. So I think it's not enough credit sometimes. And again, it's invisible. So, great, thank you.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Boards and committee actions, Joyce.
Okay, 3 tonight. I nominate Tom Pendleton to serve a 3-year unexpired term, an unexpired term through July 2027. And I would just say that this is replacing, not that anyone can replace Jim Saban, and Tom Pendleton will work every bit as hard.
Second.
I think motion and then second.
Oh, you didn't
Because
make a motion?
I nominate, so.
So moved.
I took us a while to clear this up. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Good job.
Okay. I nominate Joellen Katamartori for a 3-year unexpired term that would go through January 2028.
So moved.
On the personnel board.
Second.
Do you remember Joellen?
Yes, I do. I think it's great that she's coming back to
she's
serve.
amazing.
She is amazing. She's wonderful. She's got a tremendous job, and that skill set is perfect for that
Yes.
board.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, I nominate Jane Martin for a 3-year term to serve through October 2028 on the Age Friendly Community Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just wondered, was that one of the ones where they have their own election?
No.
And this- Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, Joyce.
I have a question regarding appointments, and it may be why Mark is still here. What was the decision on the school committee?
Applications accepted through Halloween?
What's going on, I guess?
Well, first of all, I had that, to give you guys
Oh, in your report?
an update, and I'll do it now, and I just want to say that I'm extraordinarily proud of our efforts, I think, as a community in advertising on that school committee vacancy, both in Mark's here for the school department. You know, they really took us under their wing and got the advertisement and sent it out through their entire network. And the communications department, I think, really established a new standard, which we're trying to do every time we set out, that I think will be extremely helpful in the future. That notice has been on cable TV incessantly. There's radio spots. It's all over our website, social media. I think at this point, everyone in the community is completely aware of it, and that has set a new standard. So I think people are going to get sick of hearing about the vacancy, and we're going to use this sort of template now moving forward. Whenever we get anything that we want everyone to know about, you know, we've got the, we need a code word for it. I think it's the,
Code
you know,
green.
the full Monty.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
Full Monty.
boy.
That's not bad.
Every aspect of.
So moved. We'll call it the full Monty.
And we have it set up for, I don't have the ad with me, but it's coming up, I think, on the next meeting. We indicated exactly like the board had sort of written out the advertisement, that people are ready on November 4 for their interviews. We just need to set up the schedule. And then the final date, I'm trying to think, we set it exactly at the meeting. It was, I think it was Halloween, right around.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
And so all of that we carried out, and we've already, you know, received some interest. So
Oh, good. Oh, great. Okay.
very happy, and thanks to the school department as well.
Great. Upcoming
I'm
agenda
delighted that
review.
it will be appointed by us before the town meeting, because it would be good for them to have, even though they don't have budgets voted on or something like that, it'd be good for them to have a full contingent for the special town meeting.
All right, so upcoming agenda review on November 4th. We'll recognize some retirements. We will do the burn building transfer. There's a finality there that needs to happen. We'll do our interviews for the school committee. We will hear from Amatikis, the reutilization committee update, presentation from Habitat, special town meeting review, and the dog hearing. Okay, that's a full.
Busy night?
Busy night.
A full
Do we
agenda.
have, oh, December 2nd, Daggett's, okay.
Yeah, we'll put in Daggett's.
That's December 2nd, though, I think.
Great. I don't think we can do anything else at our next meeting, and then we can discuss from there. When are we making were we making our appointment on the same day? What did we talk about, the date it had to be approved by?
It is that, November 4 is the date, because.
So we have to do the interviews and the appointment on the
And
same
on
day?
that same day,
Okay,
which I know we don't like to do.
no,
I think for that one,
We have
yeah.
a time constraint, so.
we don't have a choice. All right, great. Individual items.
Oh, I have an agenda item, but not for the 4th. It's for either the 2nd or the 16th, at one of the December meetings, and that is the resolution that we got all the letters for.
Well, we already talked about that. We talked
Tonight?
No, we didn't talk about it tonight, but we polled the board before. We can poll the board again. Anybody in the board want to make
I
an
do.
agenda?
Yeah, I think because we've received the requests, I'm very comfortable asking them to come before us and explain their
Okay.
petition.
What date?
Either one.
Which is lighter in December?
Well,
The lightest evening.
we can do either one of them.
Let's do the December 2nd, just to not crush us against the end of the year type thing. Is that okay?
December 2nd?
What do we call that one? The
The
resolution?
resolution for
Air treatment.
Oh, it's an
treatment. That's it.
affirmation of human rights.
I'll look at this title. Okey-doke. Got it.
Okay, anybody else have anything else on upcoming agenda? Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just a point of inquiry regarding a potential future agenda items. I know we have firefighters that are being acknowledged as firefighters of the year. And I'm wondering if it would be appropriate for us as a board to maybe invite those firefighters that have received recognition, to invite them at an appropriate time to come here and
That would be great. And also Jeff Colby would like to
Exactly.
recognize him as well.
Yeah.
I know we have fire on for our next meeting for retirements, perhaps. If they're available, I guess it depends upon when those people that are being recognized are available, but
Yeah, I think it would be great to have them come before the board and sort of, and the same with Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, these are outstanding employees for the town. I think for Jeff to come here and, for us to be able to acknowledge him and thank him and congratulate him on this award, I think would be appropriate, as well as with the firefighters. I think I would, to some degree, leave it up to the chair and the town administrator to work on the timing of that, because it may be appropriate to do our recognition following those events and those ceremonies, although I think Jeff's has already happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure on the firefighter recognitions.
There's
when.
November 25.
Yeah.
I know that is the ceremony statewide. So we might want to do Jeff next time and do the firefighters on the 2nd. I know we'll have the chief in.
Yeah, we'll have the chief
whatever
here on the
works for
2nd.
them. Yeah. It's not a long agenda item, so we can fit them in anytime. Great idea.
So that would be great, thank you. On an individual item, if we're going on to
I was
individual.
hoping.
Okay, great. I just want to congratulate another former Yarmouth administrator, Liz Hartsgrove, for getting an appointment as the town administrator for the town of Great Barrington.
Really?
Yep, she has been serving as the
Liz.
assistant in Bourne for quite a while, and she's done an outstanding job in Bourne. And she's now she applied for the town administrator's job there, and she's been selected. So it's exciting, yeah. Yeah.
It's a great little
And I think Liz still lives in Yarmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So kudos to Liz, and hopefully
Very beautiful place.
Yeah.
it is. It is. So congratulations, Liz.
I had a couple individual items.
Sure.
Would we, guide me, please? We received a letter regarding the Title V septic tax credit. Is this something that I would discuss individually with our town administrator, or is this something that the Board of
I
Selectmen?
think this is an item that we're, as individuals or as a board, being asked to support.
Yes.
Because I think there's an effort underway by some town officials on the Cape
Right.
to expand the tax credit or to maybe have it deducted. I don't know the details of it, but I know the email that you're referring to. Doug Brown, who's a select board member in the town of Falmouth.
And Jonathan Kaufman.
That's probably a future agenda item at some point, I would
We
say.
put that then on the list.
Then I would recommend that we, if that's okay, Madam Chair, is we add that to the list of things to bring up. And we're going to need you, Liz, to kind of brief us and update us on exactly what it is that Doug,
Some more information.
yeah, ask.
What was his name? I
Doug
don't have
Brown.
Doug Brown.
Yeah.
I have this. Doug.
He's been big on this. He keeps talking about it all the time.
And then the other.
And the legislators show up at our Cape and Islands municipal leaders meetings.
yeah,
He's always hounding them on it.
And then I noticed, this is more of a comment than the Times had a pretty nice article that Chris Lampton was interviewed about their town meeting. And they are voting on a new community fee on short-term rentals, which I thought was interesting.
Well, tonight's their town meeting, so we'll see how that turns out.
Yep. And that's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I have one individual item. Jumping on top of what Mark said about Liz Hartsgrove, Yarmouth's dynamic politically is expanding still further because the Yarmouth rep to the
Bye, Mark.
To the Assembly of Delegates got elected speaker. So Susan Warner is now the speaker.
Great. I would love for Susan to come to our meeting and tell us what's going on. I've never seen her.
We could invite.
Yeah, let's, okay.
I mean, when we had Suzanne there, she used to come and give us regular
Suzanne
updates.
came every 3 months.
Yep.
She was pretty much, you can count on her like clockwork. She was here every few months explaining to us what the county was doing that might impact the town of Yarmouth. She did a great job.
So Mark, we don't get all that from you? I assumed that you kind of sent it down the table
Yeah,
with
but
little
it's different.
vibes.
She's elected for Yarmouth.
Yeah.
Of
Delegates-
town-specific,
there's-
yeah.
There's
Two different,
when the delegates' positions were created, there was a real debate in Barnstable County about, do we need delegates or can't we just stick with the County Finance Advisory Board? So when it was decided to kind of phase out the Finance Advisory Board, the understanding was that all the delegates would make regular interactions and appearances with select boards and keep in touch with town administrators. And we've had to sort of, really, we've struggled as a board to get them to come here ever since Suzanne stepped down from that position. It's been a challenge to have the delegates come here and explain what they're up to and what they're doing. They vote on the rates for the dredge that have an impact on our budget. There's a series of decisions and things that are going on. I'm happy to fill that void, but I do think there's it's part of the job description also for them.
I suggest that we extend an invitation for a 2025 report for December 16th meeting.
I think the invitation's always open.
If I have to go to the county, I'll drop in.
There you go. If there's anything, Joyce, that you'd like me to update the board on, I'm happy to do it.
Again,
I'm happy.
it would be my hope that
actual
we're open
representative.
and she could come anytime. She doesn't need to have an agenda
You'd
item.
rather
She could-
the initiative came from that side.
Well, yeah, I would think that that's should be a part of her responsibility. I mean, we can invite her if we want. I don't know if she needs an agenda item. It's usually a 2-minute update.
She would come public comments.
Yeah.
And if there was something that required some discussion, she'd get on the agenda. So, yeah, I think,
Oh, so that would be,
I
that
think
would
it's
be
part of
easy.
the, it's
Yeah.
part of the job, so.
Agreed. All right. Anybody else have any individual items? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. We have,
Madam Chair, I move the consent agenda.
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Town administrator.
Okay, Madam Chairman, I have a couple of items I wanted to keep the board apprised of. The first one was on October 16th, we had our second Affordable Housing Trust meeting to review that Chapter 40B comprehensive permit application on 897 Route 28. And I just want to say the correspondence from the Select Board was very helpful in that process. And we have a third meeting that we are in the process of scheduling now, and we're expecting some plan revisions. And they've indicated, that they're willing to make some, and we wanted to see those tremendously. And I know Liz had occasion, knows very well the developer, and is also going to be asking him to come in and make those changes in cooperation with the correspondence that we've had and the discussions we had. But we're going to do this all in front of the Affordable Housing Trust. So we'll be at these open public meetings talking about the possibility of that development. So we do hope to see it improved. And we're working quite hard on that. We think, there should be the possibility of having a less unfriendly 40B for this parcel. And I'll, leave it at that, and we're very hopeful that the petitioners come around and make some of those changes, especially with the whole architectural piece. And they've indicated are willing to study mixed use as well.
And have they been willing to study the density that they have for that property?
Yeah, the density is the big problem, is that it's kind of a sticking point, that they want to have it, put it this way, more dense than is allowed under the town zoning. So one of the things they've requested is a waiver for the town zoning on the density. But what we've all determined is that you shouldn't get any waiver for something that's poorly laid out and that is architecturally designed to look like that.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to try to do is incorporate a mixed-use portion of the development, which will reduce somewhat the residential density, and also we want to see the site design changed, the layout, the traffic patterns, the architecture especially.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that no matter what they come up with, you're going to see a continued request for density in excess of what the zoning currently allows. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's why you do a 40B.
Yeah.
But the way
He's very upfront about
the way it's proposed, it would be very unfriendly. So we're hoping to bring them around to be a little bit more friendly. So that is ongoing, and I'll let everyone know as soon as we get that date. We're waiting, to make sure that they have the plans and they're ready to come in and talk to us, and they've agreed to do that. Also, we're halfway through our interview process for the new deputy fire chief position that was approved at town meeting. It's been a fascinating process. I'm happy to be participating directly, along with the command staff of the fire department, and we're making great progress. It's, I think going to be one of the most critical positions in really impacting the positive development of that department, to be able to focus on the training, create those whole mechanisms for pathways forward to involve the rank and file, to make it so that people are prepared for advancement, to do that succession planning in that department. So I'm very encouraged with that. I want to mention there's another bill that is coming up that I'll send everyone. I just got it in this afternoon on the Municipal Empowerment Act, which we're very much in favor of, and the Joint Committee on Municipalities and Regional Government is going to have a public hearing on that on October 28th. And I do believe it's going to be available if anyone wants to testify remotely on it. But there's a lot of new provisions that are local options that provides the communities that could help us raise some additional revenues and solve some other problems. So I want to make sure that the Municipal Empowerment Act is on everyone's radar screen.
What was the date of the hearing?
October 28th. I think it's at 10:30 in the morning.
And we haven't heard anything from the state, our senator, or well, we don't, of course. We haven't heard
We had him in here last.
But that was seasonal communities. Is this different? Municipal empowerment?
Yes, this is a
The
different.
ability to do something with them in terms of income.
Yes, what this does is it streamlines a lot of the provisions of the state regulation of local government and provides additional options for local governments to be more sustainable. So
Okay, so because it's very different from seasonal communities.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, that's why.
But
Very
it means
different.
that, like, for short-term rentals, that's what I was thinking of, you have the ability to appropriate a local tax.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with seasonal communities, and I should read up on it, because it sounds very
The
different.
Mass Municipal Association has been a strong advocate
Okay.
for this legislation.
Yeah, I haven't heard
What it
anything
does
in
is
years
it's
on
sort of, it's if you're a municipal junkie,
Yeah.
a municipal town administrator, typically it's designed to streamline the business of municipal government.
Full Monty of it, really.
Is it
There you
very
go.
robust?
There you go.
Robust.
The full,
It's a robust full Monty?
the robust full Monty.
My
You
goodness, we
got that
must-
right.
I'll send out,
Please.
I have some
That's-
background information that also announces that hearing.
Thank
And
you.
I also want to make sure board members are aware, and I know Member Forrest is aware, he was at the meeting. The second Emmy Small School Building Committee meeting was held on October 16. And it was fascinating. It was a very interesting meeting, I felt, because the school building administration completed their enrollment projections, which we saw for the first time. And I did participate in that process to study the enrollment, and which is interesting in a nutshell. They show the enrollment in our schools to remain fairly steady over the next 10 years. Very small drop. But this is despite what, is looking to become a pretty significant drop in the overall town population,
Right.
where we have it through 2050 that, may go even, below 20,000. And those are just,
Yeah.
projections, but the school-age population is not declining as much as the total population, and that is a fascinating kind of a thing. And I know I have
Families with 10 kids, you think.
difficulty wrapping my head around the whole thing, and some of the issues that they're interesting issues that we confront, and Dr. Smith points out anecdotally. A new phenomenon that they're coming across is multiple students from the same single-family home in many respects. So, some households are,
Their own.
are mixing,
to me.
and you're winding up with, so there's more in-migration, but
Well, I see, so they're not
birth
getting
rates-
registered as multiple families, but they're getting, because they're not showing up that way.
actually are. They're multiple families, but you look at I think it's more of a function of in-migration.
Yeah.
That it's difficult for people to afford their own homes.
Right.
But that's not stopping them from migrating to our community. In certain instances, folks are sharing homes, families, and so where the household's size is shrinking. We know that. People having less children, but here we are, single, dwellings, having more than one family. Now, all of a sudden, they're having more children than we had expected, and that's all fueling, the population estimates. But it's not a dramatic situation. It's not like we're growing very fast or declining very fast. But I do think you could pretty much count on, and this I believe that the school enrollment should be fairly stable, at least in the immediate short term.
Yeah, if I can just add, I think this is a phenomenon that we're seeing in the Vineyard out on Nantucket. If you look at the Nantucket enrollment numbers, you would think that, given the average value of a home on Nantucket, it would be that the enrollment numbers would be declining significantly, but that's not the case. The same phenomenon of families doubling up, in properties, that you're seeing that happen. So there's a lot. There's a lot that going on here.
Change the way we look at things a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah.
Exactly.
So that was our first real look at those. And I just want to point out also, I wasn't going to mention this much, but, the Cape Cod municipal managers, we have a joint meeting set up. It's going to be in November with the Cape Cod superintendents group. And one of the things that we have as a major issue on our agenda that we want to discuss is looking regionally at these population estimates for the school children, and instead of just, we're hyper-focused on what's happening in the DY school system, which obviously is of primary importance, but I think a lot of these trends that are going around in the community surrounding us impact us directly. And so I'm hoping to see some more regional-based school population studies so that we can get a better handle on exactly what is going on with the in-migration, out-migration, because, you know, I'm hearing a lot that population across the Cape towns is decreasing, and some of the towns have a rapidly decreasing school population, but our community is not following that
What
trend.
towns are those, Bob? Do you know?
Oh, yeah, when you take a look at like places like Chatham, Dennis is decreasing, not as rapidly as, you know, I think Orleans, Chatham, and Eastham, Provincetown, it's,
Right.
you know, very rapidly. So it's a lot of the outer Cape communities that are losing school-age population, you know, pretty quickly.
While we're on that topic, Madam Chair, the Cape and Islands Municipal Leaders Association is inviting,
How come I don't get emails from them anymore?
they come to Mary Alice, and she generally distributes them to all members on the board.
I got one.
I'll check with her, make sure, if we get them, we send them out to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. So, so at the meeting of the Cape and Islands Municipal Leaders Association on December 12th, which will be a breakfast meeting at the Emerald Resort, the superintendents will be there to talk about many of the same issues with Cape Select Board members and other municipal leaders. So make a note of that on your agenda. I think we're interested in getting a handle on some of the very same challenges that the managers are talking to the superintendents about. So,
And finally, I just wanted to make sure everyone knew, next week I'll be in attendance at the International City and County Managers Annual Conference. It's going to be down in Florida. There's a lot of fabulous professional development opportunities, and I've already got some appointments set up with, there's one firm I've targeted that develops regional recreational facilities on public-private partnerships. I think, you know, I've seen some of their work before, but I'm going to sit down and try to talk to them and see, you know, next steps for implementation on Matakees may very well be to involve, and there's so many different parts in the process where you can involve a company like this to try to get proposals. But I know, not so much in our area, but across the United States, especially in, you know, the southern tier and things, these public-private partnerships for recreational facilities that have kind of a regional bent, they're enormously successful. They're successful as economic development tools, they're successful as recreational tools, they're successful as community building, so I'd like to learn a lot more about that, and so that'll be fascinating. And I'll be back in the office by the tail end of next week.
Enjoy. Excellent. Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.